Harrison Graham, Tyler Jones with you here on College Football Now. We are closing in on Championship Saturday and the final college football playoff rankings. But it's not just about the 12-team bracket, which we'll start with here. It's about the bowl games as well. We're going to project every single bowl game that we will find out who's playing in those bowls in less than a week. Here's the bracket from this Tuesday night. This is what the playoff would look like. If everything stayed the same, obviously things will change. There's championship games, seedings could change, all that stuff. Iowa State could beat Arizona State. Boise State could lose to UNLV, so on and so forth. But that is what the bracket looks like as of now. Tyler, obviously those will feed into ultimately what used to be the New Year's Six Bowls.
Yes, we'll see the New Year's Six within the college football playoff. First round, of course, will be at home sites. And something to think about too, Harry, you could have teams that get eliminated in that first round and technically don't go to a bowl game at all this year.
Yeah, exactly. That's very, very interesting. Okay, we're going to go through every bowl game projection here. Salute to Veterans Bowl, South Alabama versus Western Michigan. This one's already set. One of two bowl games that has been already announced as of Tuesday. So that one will take place on December 14th at 9 o'clock Eastern. The Frisco Bowl, Texas State, North Texas. That'd be a lot of fun. Little in-state action out in Frisco. I'd be intrigued by that one.
Yeah, some good offense there. And G.J. Kiddey, of course, getting a lot of looks for potential coaching opportunities. Good to see what he could do on a national stage.
That one December 17th. Boca Raton Bowl here, Ohio versus UConn. I got to tell you, Jim Mora taking UConn to a bowl game 2 out of 3 years there, that's pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, now they are an independent, so they do get to control their schedule, so they've had some help. But nonetheless, UConn, a program that's trying to prove themselves to potentially get in a power conference, and their football program is getting better.
The LA Bowl, UNLV versus Cal. Obviously, the running Rebels, if they were to beat Boise State, would make the college football playoff. But if they don't, they'd get an opportunity against a Power 4 squad here.
Yeah, Cal had a nice non-conference win against Auburn, and
should have beat Miami.
Yeah, had a chance there. It's been an interesting year for that Cal program there. New Orleans Bowl, Western Kentucky, and James Madison. How about the Dukes going bowling back-to-back years?
Love to see that, no question about it. High-scoring affair projected in that one if it were to happen on December 19th. The Cure Bowl, Jacksonville State versus Marshall. I know the Marshall coach is getting some looks to potentially jump to a Power 4 program.
Rich Rod.
North Carolina could happen. Yeah, Rich Rod at Jacksonville State. Love to see that as well. One of my favorites, the Gasparilla Bowl, Virginia Tech, Vanderbilt, little Power 4 matchup in Tampa, Tyler.
Yes, Virginia Tech was the team that a lot of people thought had a chance to get into the ACC, and they lost week 1 to Vanderbilt. So it would be a rematch between these two.
I'm in. Let's do it. The Myrtle Beach Bowl, which is on December 23rd in Conway, South Carolina. Memphis versus North Carolina. Do we know if Mac Brown is coaching the bowl game?
I don't know one way or the other, but no way to get ready for retirement than go to America's favorite retirement destination at Myrtle Beach, potentially, against Memphis. There.
Yeah, it's kind of sad how that's all ended for Mac. Didn't really get to go out on his own terms. I hope he coaches the bowl game. We'll see if he will. What is your favorite bowl game? Let us know down in the comment section down below. Let's say outside of the New Year's Six ones, because everyone's going to say, like, the Rose Bowl or whatever.
The next one is my favorite.
Okay, let's get to it.
The Potato Bowl. For all the potatoes. The famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Man, everybody just loves to go to Boise, Idaho in the month of December. Bowling Green and Fresno State. Fresno State, pretty high-powered offense there. That could be fun.
Is there a better sponsored stadium than Albertson Stadium? I mean, that's so Boise, Idaho.
Yeah, Albertson's headquarters there in Boise.
Where you can get some potatoes, I'm sure.
Yeah, the Albertsons in Boise, Harry, I don't know if you're aware of this. They have bars within the Albertsons.
That's electric. I might have to take a visit sometime. All right.
Hawaii Bowl, San Jose State in South Florida.
This one is also set already.
That game in Honolulu. That could be a fun matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. South Florida coach getting some looks as well. He could be on to bigger and better. San Jose State, they have a receiver. I'm totally blanking on his name, but he's up for the Bolitnikoff, so he's had a huge year. The Sports Bowl. Does it get much better than the Sports Bowl between Georgia Southern and Buffalo? Throw out the record books when these two sync up in Ford Field, Tyler.
Man, nothing says bowl game like the Sports Bowl. It's for all the sports. You prove if you're the better sporting team between Georgia Southern and Buffalo. The formerly known as the Guaranteed Rate Bowl, now just the Rate Bowl.
No longer guaranteed.
Yes, TCU and Rutgers. TCU, Harry, your school, I think that TCU team with Hoover at quarterback and what they have coming back, they could be an interesting team to watch next year.
I think. Yeah, they finished strong, won 5 out of 6. Hoover was top 10 in the nation in passing. Rutgers, Schiano's done a nice job there, so that would be an interesting one out in Phoenix, which back in the day, TCU played in the Cheez-It Bowl in Phoenix, and that was one to forget.
The same bowl game changed sponsors.
Yeah, exactly. They all just shuffle these days. All right, more bowl games to project here, but first, if you want to get in on all the action, PrizePicks, Daily Fantasy, made easy. Get signed up today, prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use that code CLNS for if you're a new-time customer. You're going to get a $50 bonus sent straight to your account. Once you play for $5, you got to put $5 in there, play for $5. You'll get an additional $50 for free. Set lineups of 2 or more players. Pick more, pick less, and you are going to make some money if you hit on your pick. Sometimes you can turn $10 into $1,000 with as few as 4 correct entry picks on a single entry. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Here's the code CLNS. This is an example of what a lineup looks like right here. Jahmyr Gibbs, more on his rushing yards there. We got Josh Jacobs finding the end zone. That's a little goblin pick, easier to hit, but like his chances there. Then Christian Watson less on his receiving yards as well. Again, play for $5. Doesn't matter if you win or lose your first entry. You're going to get a $50 bonus. So what are you waiting for? Link is in the comments and in the description. Sign up today. Get going with PrizePicks. Okay, the 68 Ventures Bowl, Sam Houston State, whose coach left for Temple, which I kind of found curious, against Arkansas State, that game in Mobile, Alabama.
Too bad they're not the 69 Ventures Bowl.
Yeah, that's a shame, isn't it?
One short. The Armed Forces Bowl in Fort Worth, Navy and Texas Tech. Another disappointing season for the Red Raiders. Navy surprised a lot of folks with what they did in the early portion of the year.
Yeah, I mean, listen, talk about a tale of two teams, right? Texas Tech's going to spread it out. Navy's going to run the triple option, so that would be potentially an interesting matchup. Tech went 8-4, so for their standards, that's actually not too bad. They think they're a power program, but we all know that.
Yeah, college football does not run through Lubbock.
Nor will they ever. Sorry, Joey. The Birmingham Bowl, Arkansas, West Virginia, Neil Brown fired. We thought Sam Pittman might be, but he's going to be back. That one's taking place in Birmingham on December 27th.
Yeah, two good quarterbacks here between Green for Arkansas, and we'll see with West Virginia here. Should be a fun matchup as those two teams square off. The Liberty Bowl, Kansas State and Ole Miss.
That'd be a pretty good one, honestly.
And, man, for both these teams, the Liberty Bowl has been one of the lower tier of the bowl games. For these two teams that thought they were going to be in the playoff just a couple of weeks ago, to fall all the way to the Liberty Bowl, what a disappointment. You got to hang out in Memphis now.
I mean, especially Ole Miss. Like, you could make a pretty strong argument that Ole Miss had one of the 2 or 3 best rosters in the country. They invested in NIL. Jackson Dart was one of the most experienced quarterbacks in college football. For this team to lose 3 games and basically have very little chance at making the playoffs, I mean, I think it's safe to say that is the biggest underachieving team in the country this year.
Oh, without question. With all the money they spent in the portal, yeah, it's an embarrassment. Holiday Bowl, Clemson and Washington State in San Diego there for that one. This Clemson team still got a chance to potentially make the playoff. This is projecting they lose to SMU. Washington State, sneaky good season for them representing the Pac-2.
Is it called Snapdragon Stadium now? Did I miss that memo? My goodness.
And that's the Padres Stadium?
Is that Padre, or is it the old Charger Stadium? Is that thing still kicking? That is incredible.
Snapdragon. That
is
wild.
That's not very good. Shout out your favorite team in the comment section down below. We appreciate you representing on that. All right, the Las Vegas Bowl. This would be another at least good brand matchup. But Tyler, obviously, things have been off the rails for USC. I will say most of their losses were close ones, but Lincoln Riley, he's going to be back next year, but you got to figure he enters next season on the hot seat.
Yeah, USC starts the season. They end the season where they started back in Vegas at the Vegas Bowl there. A&M, I feel like that Mike Elko has some building blocks based on what they saw this year, that they have some good momentum, which we haven't said about A&M in a while.
They did find a way to 8-4 once again, but I do agree they're improved compared to where it ended with Jimbo, so they've got that. Duke and Tulane in the Fenway Bowl. Malik Murphy actually had a pretty good year for Duke, the Texas transfer. Tulane, disappointing loss last week before Conference Championship week. Their playoff hopes are still alive, but they'll have to settle for potentially this bowl game or another one instead. The Pinstripe Bowl, as we go through baseball country here. Boston College, Minnesota, take the under.
Yes. That's setting up to be an ugly game there. Bill O'Brien, though, that team had that win, I think it was week 2 against Florida State. They surprised some people with Bill O'Brien's first game.
Look, if you're Boston College and you're going to bowl games, you're happy. I think that's fair to say. PJ Fleck did a pretty nice job, too. They went 7-5, but they were very competitive in a lot of games. New Mexico Bowl, Louisiana versus Toledo. That one out in Albuquerque. Go visit Walter White and the boys before you go play some football. The Pop-Tarts Bowl, Miami, Iowa State, obviously projecting Iowa State to lose in the Big 12 championship game. Miami would be one of the first teams out of the college football playoff here. This would be a pretty fun game out in Orlando. Pretty much a home game for the Canes.
Yeah, this would be your consolation prize for Miami and Iowa State. And two good offenses. We would see Cam Ward potentially. Maybe he opts out his last college game. Rocco Beck has been fun to watch there. The receivers they have, 2 1,000-yard receivers for the first time in Iowa State history. I think that'd be a lot of fun. The Arizona Bowl, Miami of Ohio, the Fighting Tom Downies against Colorado State in Tucson for that one there. And then
Miami in the MAC championship against Ohio this week.
Yeah.
The Military Bowl, NC State and Army out in Annapolis.
That'd yes, Army getting to play in the Military Bowl. How fitting. That could potentially be there. If you love college football, we got you covered as we're bringing you the latest happenings in the world of college football, from the transfer portal to National Signing Day, the college football playoff. We're going to have some college football playoff watch parties. Subscribe now, Chat Sports TV, youtube.com/Chat Sports TV. To subscribe now for free. You'll be glad you did. The Alamo Bowl, Harry,
one
has
of my favorites.
Become, I think, the best non-playoff bowl. BYU and Colorado, a conference game.
Yeah, it could. They could do this now with all the just chaotic situations. I doubt it would happen, but
and the reason why it can happen is all the former Pac-12 schools are still aligned with their old Pac-12 bowl games.
Yep.
So
and they didn't play each other in the regular season, right? BYU Colorado?
I don't believe so.
So I think that would be. I'll just double check on that real quick. I think that'd be a fun one. They did not play each other, so I think they would sign up for that, both these teams. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
The Independence Bowl, UTSA, Coastal Carolina, as Jeff Traylor's still kicking down there for the Roadrunners. Music City Bowl, Missouri and Nebraska.
An old Big 8 rivalry.
By the way, is Dana Holgorsen, is he like the long-term guy there under Matt Rule? Or was that just a patchwork situation?
he was hired as OC. It wasn't an interim role. He's
going to be there beyond this year.
Yes, okay. Once he gets hired away elsewhere. But yes, there in Nashville, old Big 8 showdown. I like that. Relic West Bowl, the other Tampa Bowl, Florida and Michigan. We've seen these two teams in bowl games before. They were in the Peach Bowl a few years back.
They played a non-conference game at Jerry World a few years back as
If
well.
we did a playoff of 7 and 5 teams, these would be your top 2 seeds.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan's defense, and they can run the football. DJ Lagway. We mentioned TCU as a dark horse playoff team next year. I think Florida could fit that bill as well if Lagway, makes substantial strides this offseason. The Sun Bowl, Georgia Tech and Washington. Georgia Tech really should have beaten Georgia the other night. Washington in there as well. I enjoy watching Georgia Tech's offense. They're creative in their run game. That'd be a fun one out in El Paso. The Citrus Bowl, Illinois, South Carolina, out in Orlando. Pair of 9-3 teams. South Carolina probably disappointed. They're not really in the playoff hunt at this point, but this would be a fun matchup, a chance to get to 10 wins for both schools.
Yes, which would be monumental for both programs. The Texas Bowl, Baylor and SMU, Dave Aranda and company had a nice finish to the year.
They played really well. Yeah.
LSU didn't have the year that they hoped for here. And both these coaches heading into next season, I think, on the hot seat. Even with Aranda's strong finish, there's still going to be a lot of doubts there in Waco.
Yeah, especially Brian Kelly there. The good news for LSU is Garrett Nussmeier announced he's coming back. So that's a silver lining of a disappointing season. The Gator Bowl, Syracuse and Oklahoma. Obviously, the Sooners, speaking of coaches on the hot seat for next season, I think you'd have to have Brent Venables on that list. They just hired a new offensive coordinator in Arbuckle.
Yeah, from Washington State.
Do you think he helps in this game at all? We'll see.
I don't know exactly what his role is. I would think Joe John Finley's still the play caller. Syracuse coming off that win against Miami. They would have some momentum going into that game.
Chance for 10 wins for Syracuse.
First Responder Bowl, Pitt in East Carolina. Pitt, I was a little surprised with. They were in the top 25 for a decent portion of the season.
Yeah, they plummeted down the stretch, but their quarterback, Holstein, the Bama transfer, is pretty good. The Duke's Mayo Bowl, who's going to get dunked? Louisville, Iowa. Seventh-year quarterback Tyler Shuck for the Cardinals, still slinging the pill.
I want to see Kirk Ferentz take down that Mayo bath. That would be a sight.
Can he just retire after that as well?
Maybe so.
That would be great. The Bahamas Bowl. If I went to a MAC school, my dream would be to play in the Bahamas Bowl.
How do we get Chat Sports to send us to the Bahamas Bowl?
Super chat us. I'm just kidding. That'd be fun. That'd be a fun trip. Northern Illinois, who, of course, beat Notre Dame earlier this year against Liberty in our projections. There you have it. Bowl game projections. Who's going to win the college football playoff? That is the main focus here. Let us know in the comment section down below, and don't forget to subscribe.